South Africa's parliament descended into absolute chaos today in what many insiders are calling the most dramatic session since the dawn of democracy. What began as a tense yet routine debate over the nation's fragile economic recovery quickly spiraled into an unprecedented political storm. Without any warning, senior justice officials dropped a bombshell announcement. Several arrest warrants had been issued, reportedly targeting some of the most powerful figures in the country. The tension had already been palpable long before the shocking revelation was made. The day's proceedings opened under an unmistakably uneasy atmosphere. Members of parliament exchanged quiet murmurs, wary glances darted across the chamber, and both ruling and opposition benches saw MPs compulsively check in their phones. Even before the sitting began, political circles buzzed with rumors that the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, often known as the Hawks, had made significant progress in probing corruption cases from the notorious state capture years. Yet even seasoned political watchers did not expect such revelations to surface so publicly, and in such a high-stakes setting. After nearly an hour of fiery disputes over the national budget allocations, a quiet representative from the Justice Department requested the floor. The Speaker granted permission, and a tense silence settled over the room. In a measured tone, the envoy began, "It is in the public interest to inform Parliament that several arrest warrants have been executed by the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation." The envoy elaborated that these warrants formed part of extensive corruption investigations, implicating individuals in both government and the private sector. The moment the words, "top people in government," were spoken, the chamber erupted into turmoil. Opposition MPs shot to their feet, some pointing accusing fingers across the floor, others shouting in unison, "Name them. Name them now." On the ANC benches, MPs huddled in frantic whispers while the Speaker's gavel pounded the desk again and again to restore order, in vain. The noise only intensified. Cries of "accountability now" thundered beneath the vaulted ceiling as lawmakers pounded their fists on desks in anger. Amid the uproar, an EFF member's voice rose above the chaos, declaring, "We told you, the thieves are here in this very room." At that moment, television cameras zoomed in on President Cyril Ramaphosa. His face was stoic yet strained, his jaw visibly tightening before he leaned toward Justice Minister Ronald Lamola for a brief, hushed exchange. Observers noted a crack in the president's composure. He tilted his head back in his chair, exhaling heavily as ANC Chief Whip Phemi Majidina moved swiftly through the caucus, issuing instructions and rallying members. The opposition wasted no time in seizing the moment. A Democratic Alliance representative stood and proclaimed, "We cannot sit in a chamber where those entangled in looting and betrayal still presume to legislate for the people. South Africa deserves better. Arrest must happen now, not later." Within minutes, the EFF, DA, and several smaller parties staged a theatrical walkout, chanting, "Arrest the corrupt. Arrest them all." Many carried placards, seemingly prepared in advance, fueling speculation that they had been tipped off about the Justice Department's announcement. Inside the chamber, ANC MPs condemned the opposition's behavior, accusing them of grandstanding and politicizing what they described as a sensitive legal process. Yet police sources, speaking anonymously to reporters, confirmed that the warrants targeted individuals linked to massive tender corruption, illegal foreign currency dealings, and offshore accounts uncovered during recent financial data leaks. Security forces quickly reinforced the perimeter of the parliamentary complex, and witnesses reported seeing unmarked police vehicles positioned strategically along surrounding streets. By mid-afternoon, news broke that the Hawks had raided at least 2 ministerial residences in Pretoria and a sprawling private estate in Sandton allegedly owned by a politically connected businessman. Political analyst Dr. Namso Khumalo, speaking live on television, described the moment as a constitutional earthquake. He stated, "This is no longer just a political scandal, it's a national reckoning. If the names on those warrants are as high-level as our sources suggest, we may be witnessing the beginning of a major realignment of political power in South Africa." The impact will not be measured in days, but in years. Meanwhile, sources inside the union buildings revealed that the president had been completely blindsided by the announcement. His communications team scrambled to arrange an emergency evening briefing. One senior advisor admitted that Ramaphosa was personally shocked and enraged that such sensitive information had been disclosed on live parliamentary television without his prior knowledge. By 7 p.m., South Africa's major news networks had switched to non-stop coverage. Red countdown clocks appeared on screens, ticking down to what anchors called the most anticipated arrests in post-apartheid history. Reporters gathered outside the homes of prominent politicians, cameras in hand. On social media, the reaction was explosive. Hashtags like #ParliamentErupts, #Hawks, and #Corruption Crackdown topped national trends within minutes. TikTok live streams outside government buildings drew tens of thousands of viewers, while memes flooded every platform, some celebratory, others deeply skeptical about whether true justice would follow. Not everyone was convinced. In Khayelitsha, one weary resident told SABC News, "We've seen this movie before. They arrest a few, but the big fish always get away. We want to believe this time is different, but we've been promised justice too many times." Back in Cape Town, the tension between the major parties lingered into the night. With so many opposition members gone, Parliament struggled to resume normal business. Ultimately, the Speaker adjourned the session, citing irreparable disorder and the extraordinary events of the day. Outside, spontaneous demonstrations erupted, with crowds holding signs reading, "No one is above the law," and chanting for accountability. Police maintained a visible but restrained presence, wary of inflaming an already volatile situation. Officials from the Hawks later clarified that the public announcement in Parliament had been intentional. The goal, they said, was to ensure transparency and discourage any interference with the ongoing investigations. By making the warrants public, they had effectively made it politically dangerous for anyone implicated to flee or destroy evidence. Still, unanswered questions hung heavily over the nation. Why had the president not been informed sooner? Were the opposition's pre-made placards evidence of coordinated leaks? And perhaps most crucially, how far up the chain of power would these arrests truly reach?